We have to quit pussyfooting around and call a spade a spade. Trump and his administration are Russian assets. There's
Mhm.
no question about it. He spouts Russian propaganda on the international stage. He is bending the knee to Vladimir Putin. He is thumbing his nose at NATO. And what's so remarkable and what's so breathtaking is that many lifelong Republicans are in Vladimir Putin's camp. Vladimir Putin, former KGB agent, has played the long game with his Russian propaganda, and he has converted the national security Reagan, Bush, Republicans to be pro-Russian. Watch this complete lie.
It's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down.
All right, let me just make this crystal clear. Vladimir Putin and Russia started the war. Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. He is a murderer. He has charges pending in the ICC. His number one goal is to dismantle American democracy. It has been his goal since the late 80s. All that has to be done for this war to end is for Putin to end it.
Right.
Ukraine is a sovereign nation.
You know, it's like, it echoes for me, you know, Trump saying, well, we want Canada to be a 51st state. Like, Canada is a country. They are a sovereign nation. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. And I just sit back, and I was going to sleep last night and I thought, can you believe that Fox News and the national security Republicans are running around leaving NATO for Vladimir Putin? It is mind-boggling. And for him to sit up there and spout Russian propaganda, and nobody on the Republican side, like the Mitch McConnells, the Lindsey Grahams, the people who have always been so pro, you know, or against Russia, to sit there and take it, it just shows how pathetic they are. And for him to have a, you know, a negotiation without Ukraine is despicable. That'd be like if I met with the realtor about your house to sell it, but I didn't include you in it. This is the kind of bullshit that they are doing on a national stage. And it is no surprise that the European allies are nervous because Trump is absolutely in bed with Putin.
Well, and let's not forget that they did this in Saudi Arabia, a country that murdered and assassinated Khashoggi, dismembered him, turned him into acid, and poured him down the drain. And so you have like the United States of America meeting with the worst of the worst and excluding all of our major allies because the Trump administration is the most pro-Russian administration. And I believe they are all deeply, deeply compromised. I believe that Musk is colluding with Putin and Trump is just a vehicle. And I think Marco Rubio at this point is as compromised as all get out. But there is one senator, Senator Wicker, who said something interesting yesterday to Manu Raju. Let's hear this clip.
Trusted in these negotiations?
No. Putin is a war criminal and should be in jail for the rest of his life, if not executed.
Because Trump thinks that he wants peace.
All right. Senate Democrats, quit talking about stupid shit that nobody cares about and start getting Republican senators on board. Everything else, the Gulf of America and Trump putting his name, his face on Mount Rushmore, all of this is bullshit. His interview last night with his boyfriend, Elon Musk, to try to provide permission structures for Fox News viewers to say, oh, it's okay that Musk is running everything. All of that is just smoke and mirrors to hide the fact that Vladimir Putin and Elon Musk are running the show, and we are going to pull out of NATO. We are going to surrender our standing. The Europeans are meeting behind our backs now, and I don't blame them.
No.
Canada is meeting behind our backs now, and I don't blame them because we're colluding with Saudi Arabia and Russia. Russia. It's jaw-dropping. So I want to walk you through a little bit of history here. I want Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, has completely humiliated himself on the national stage. He was on the Senate Intelligence Committee for years, so he knows. Furthermore, I believe that Marco Rubio was hacked by the Russians in 2017. So he knows exactly what Vladimir Putin is up to, and this propaganda machine and the psychological warfare campaign that has been conducted on the United States of America. Here's a video of Marco Rubio just a few years ago. Watch this clip.
Compared Donald Trump to a third world dictator yesterday in an interview with the New York Times. How so?
Well, I don't know about a dictator. I said a third world strongman. You know, he's running for president, so no matter what, he won't be a dictator unless our republic completely crumbles, which I don't anticipate it will. But yeah, here's what happens in many countries around the world. You have a leader that emerges and basically says, don't put your faith in yourselves, don't put your faith in society, put your faith in me. I'm a strong leader, and I'm going to make things better all by myself. This is very typical. You see it in the third world. You see it a lot in Latin America for decades. It's basically the argument he's making that he single-handedly is going to turn the country around. We've never been that kind of country. We have a president. The president is an American citizen who serves for a period of time, constrained by the constitutions and the powers vested in that office. The president works for the people, not the people for the president. And if you listen to the way he describes himself and what he's going to do, he's going to single-handedly do this and do that without regard for whether it's legal or not. Look, I think people are going to have to make up their mind. I can tell you this, no matter what happens in this election, for years to come, there are many people on the right, in the media, and voters at large that are going to be having to explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump, because this is not going to end well one way or the other.
I want to play one more clip, and then I want Pumps to rip Marco. Okay, next clip, Kylie.
One is one we hope to move pretty quickly on because this involves the treatment of our respective missions. The second one will be difficult, which is the question of Ukraine and the end of that conflict. But I think that's essential in order for the third piece to even be possible, which is our ability to work together on other geopolitical matters of common interest and, of course, some pretty unique, potentially historic economic partnerships as well.
Okay, first of all, look at the body language, the voice structure, and he looks like a hostage, but that was just in the last couple of days. Pumps?
Okay, what my question is he knows better. So why is he doing it? Is he doing it because he too is in bed with Russia, or is he just completely devoted to Trump because of power? Like, those are my questions, because clearly by his own words, he knows better. He has had clarity on these issues. And just one other thing before you answer, I didn't realize his ears were so disproportionately big to the rest of his head, but go ahead.
I just want to say that I think that many Republicans have fallen prey to Russian propaganda. Federal judges, Supreme Court justices, doctors, lawyers, upper class, middle class, lower class, because Vladimir Putin has played the long game with this. Now, on Marco Rubio, who had crystal clear clarity about Russia and its provocations in Ukraine and its propaganda provocations in the United States of America, even had to step in when Vladimir Putin tried to hack Florida voting machines. He was completely briefed on all of this. He knows. So I don't know, but my deduction skills tell me he's compromised. Yeah. I think he has to be compromised. I think many Americans are compromised. I think Vladimir Putin has Donald Trump by the balls. Yeah. I think that Elon Musk is Trump's full-time babysitter. And I think right now, the America first, make America great again. We're real Americans. Don't get these foreigners out of here. We are ceding our power to a Russian and a South African. Hide and watch. This is what's going on. And unless more senators like that Senator Wicker, the Republican Party has got to step up here, and the Democratic senators have to apply pressure on them and get them on the record. And journalists need to get them on the record and quit taking the bait and talking about all of this other crazy bullshit, because this is what Vladimir Putin wants. He wants the demise of Western democracies. This is what Elon Musk wants, the demise of Western democracies. Our vice president, J.D. Vance, who met with neo-Nazis in Germany and not the democratically elected government. He is completely in the pockets of Peter Thiel, who wants the demise of Western democracy. So this is a 911 house on fire. All of these national security Republicans have got to step up to the plate. Wicker, you need to go find some others. And every Senate Democrat needs to get these people on board. This is a disaster, an absolute disaster.
Well, and then you look at Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence. This thing is going from bad to worse. CIA agents, shit canned. Like this is like you said, the house is on fire.
All right, guys, stick with us for more uplifting takes later today.